your godless sinner, the devilish guide to a critical mind. Today, we're gonna take a look at Spiritual Dive's video on how to manipulate your energy to create literal quantum events in your reality right now. Or so it's the claim. You won't want to miss out on this one. Alright, let's go.
Ancient yogis and Buddhist monks, for example, have always emphasized one word: observation.
The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines yogi as a person who practices yoga, an adherent of yoga philosophy, and a markedly reflective or mystical person, in case the meaning was needed here, but let's continue for now.
In order to observe something, we need to devote our attention to it.
That is indeed how it usually goes, sure.
Which means that when we give the right attention, we are able to manifest a desired quantum event in our own lives.
Whoa. How the f did we get from observing is devoting attention to something to giving attention to something generates quantum events? Do you even know what a quantum event is? Do you have any idea of what quantum even means? What are your credentials exactly? Well, let's check. Your About section says, welcome, thanks for checking out my channel. Most likely you've all gone through difficult times when everything seems to be going wrong. I'm here to help as many people as I can to overcome their limitations and beliefs and to manifest all their dreams through universal laws. On my journey, I want to help people awaken their inner power and discover that anything is possible. Life is extremely pleasurable to be lived and you deserve the best life that it has to offer. So no scientist, no physicist, no mathematician. Cool. So tell me, where do you get your data from? Your mind? By the way, gotta love the mystical glowy lights emanating from the human figures, right? Like, quite colorful, very gay, I approve. Moving on.
So, in this video, I'll share how you can use your attention to create the reality you want.
What in the LSD is that? Did you give us a seizure warning in the beginning of the video? Go back to gay emanations, they were way better than this shit.
Because learning to direct your attention is the most powerful thing you can do as a co-creator of reality.
Oh, we're co-creators of reality now? Wow, yeah, I do feel pretty powerful now that you mention it. Gosh, how did I not notice how epic and amazing I was before? Is that the reaction that you want us to have? It's pretty good to feel powerful, isn't it? It's pretty good to feel like you are godlike being, a co-creator of reality, switching up whatever you don't like with the power of your very mind. Pity it doesn't work. Or maybe a good thing it doesn't. Can you imagine how it would actually be if every single one of us actually had the power to twist life and the bloody laws of the universe to our own will? Can you imagine the chaos that would reign upon this world? More than it already is.
So, let's start.
Cool, yeah, sure. Let's start.
Now let's understand how our attention actually dictates the version of reality that manifests. But to understand this, we need to understand how energy flows.
Yeah, sure. Let's understand how energy flows, kids. So the National Geographic explains, trophic levels provide a structure for understanding food chains and how energy flows through an ecosystem. So at the base of the pyramid are the producers who use photosynthesis or chemosynthesis to make their own food. Herbivores, or primary consumers, make up the second level. Second and tertiary consumers, omnivores and carnivores, follow in the subsequent sections of the pyramid. At each step of the food chain, only 10% of the energy is passed on to the next level, while approximately 90% of the energy is lost as heat. Interesting, right? So now we know how energy flows through an ecosystem. Yay! So now let's see which part of this he's gonna mention. I'm gonna take a guess at none.
Every time you feel stuck in life, like you're working towards something that just doesn't happen, or similar situations keep coming up, like a roller coaster ride, the same relationships you attract, it's important to understand where the energy gets stagnant. When energy can't flow, which is what needs to happen with energy, it becomes stagnant.
So let's understand what the heck he's saying here. So basically he's saying that whenever we feel stuck in life, when things don't work out or we attract the same relationships, it's because our energy got stagnant. So researching the term stagnant energy only shows pseudoscience articles, massage posts, and law of attraction type books. Interesting.
And when it becomes stagnant, we experience the same circumstances. So what directs the flow of energy? Attention.
Dr. Manhattan, is that you?
Wherever attention goes, energy flows. Our focus and attention determine where the energy flows. What most people don't know is that the nature of our attention is made up of two main types, polar and non-polar attention.
Okay, kids, so let's pay attention now. I'm pretty sure polar and non-polar attention will be on the test.
Polar attention has the power to attract and repel reality.
The power to attract and repel reality. Attract and repel reality. First off, what does that even mean? Are we talking black hole type suction and the conceptual white hole type expelling of matter? Are we talking some superpower type shit where you create and dispel reality? Does that affect other people? Everyone has it? How would that even fucking work?
Any problem, when turned on its side, becomes a solution. Two different sides of the same coin.
Wow. Simplistic much? I mean, talk about false dichotomy, right? Any problem when turned on its side becomes a solution. My child has cancer. Yeah. I don't get it.
And that's what polar attention does. It attracts something while repelling something else. Now, let's explore this further. In addition to polar attention, there is non-polar attention.
Okay, so everyone be ready for the non-polar attention. Let's see this.
There is non-polar attention, which is completely neutral and has the power to dissolve reality.
Wait, what? You're not gonna explain that bit at all? What do you mean by dissolve reality? Are any of you guys getting this?
Now, in terms of the manifestation of quantum events in our lives, let's look at what this could mean.
You really don't have a clue about what a quantum event is, right? I'm gonna link some videos that talk more about what quantum mechanics really actually are about in the description. Shit's complicated and I'm not a scientist. By the way, the Quantum Physics for Dummies book recommends having a great grasp of all the physics concepts explained in Physics for Dummies, if any of you guys want to have a go at it. So it's Physics for Dummies first, in its entirety, knowing it really well, and then you can go to Quantum Physics for Dummies. Cool? Good luck with that, guys. But long story short, you're gonna have a quantum event in a lab. And with testing. Like a lab. Okay? You need to know some really complicated equations to have a grasp at quantum physics. You can't use it to explain whatever the f you want it to mean. You can't use it as a scientific explanation for the bullshit spirituality you want to peddle.
Imagine that we have two types of polar attention, positive attention and negative attention.
By the way, the only real resources on polar attention I can find are about gated polar attention mechanisms, which is a specific machine learning strategy. Nothing to do with this inception type reality bending shit.
When we think positively about something, life doesn't care about the true nature of our attention. It cares about the content.
No. Life doesn't care either way, because life is not a thing that has feelings at all. Life is the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death, as per the Oxford Dictionary. Life is a condition, a state of being. Life doesn't have a brain or a will of its own. It's not a sapient entity that governs all that is.
As I explained in the previous video, if we hate something, we will attract more events from it.
Oh my gosh. Way to victim blame the entire world, right? I hate tsunamis. God, they're the worst. So many people dying, houses being destroyed. Fucking terrible. What? Am I attracting tsunamis now? How would that even work? I'm a menace to society because I fear tsunami so much that I cause them to happen. How crazy would that be? This is the worst point about all of this kind of logic. A woman was abused, she fucking attracted it. Oh, really? She attracted it? She caused it? Really? How much of a monster do you have to be to actually say and believe that? Think about it for a second. Children are abused. Children who don't even know what sex is are abused. How would they have attracted that? Happy, innocent children that don't know anything about the possible horrors of the world. How did they attract that? It makes no fucking sense. That removes the responsibility from the insane psychopaths, the egotistical motherfucker abusers, and places the blame on the victims every single time. Imagine for a split second that you are wrong. Imagine for a second that people don't attract the random events that happen in their lives. The car crash just happened because accidents happen, or happened because of a drunk driver not caring enough not to drive that day. Imagine that things just happen sometimes without rhyme or reason. Imagine that you were wrong. Imagine that that girl didn't attract that abuser. Imagine that you are accusing her of being responsible for that nightmare, and you are wrong. Imagine the damage that you have caused by blaming her instead of the criminal. You seem like a shitty person now, don't you? Let's keep that in mind from now on.
Similarly, if we love something, we will attract more of what we love.
Look, no matter how much you love money, you love those numbers going up in the bank account, you love that sweet, sweet scent of cash in your nostrils, if you're not actively working on something, but just vibing money or something, money won't magically appear in your bank account. No matter how much these mystical gurus tell you it will. Money does not work like a fucking magnet. I'm so sorry about that. Spending hours vibrating for money might just give you a mild headache in the best of cases. Potentially deep depression and self-blame when no money appears at all.
This is the crux of the matter for us, human beings. We have been conditioned throughout our lives to operate in fear and survival mode because that has become our biology. We've been conditioned to survive, first and foremost. And what is the most important and powerful way to survive? Eliminating and avoiding any threat to our survival.
Sure, yeah. We have been conditioned to survive, to eliminate threats. Let's just remember that we don't really work by the whole survival of the fittest type deal. We are a social species. We thrive by having others around us and care about them just as they do about us. But yeah, go on.
So we've been conditioned to live in this mode of protection, avoiding conflict, avoiding risk. Many of us have been shaped in this way. Because of this conditioning, we continue to experience more and more of what worries us.
Okay, so this is not exactly a universal experience. It does give off anxiety vibes, and I'm guessing that this is exactly the public that this channel is trying to reach. People who feel a void in their lives, people who have depression, people who have anxiety, people who need something, anything to give them meaning.
Think about what you see on the news, on social media, and why there is more spread of fear than anything else. This is how other influences can manipulate and influence us. There are so many proud people willing to go to war to protect something they love and are very proud of. While this is admirable, it often makes them blind to what is really going on, because it's very easy to make someone carry out desired actions when they're angry. It's just as easy to make someone carry out specific actions when they're afraid. So fear, anger, and pride are the states in which society keeps us trapped.
Society keeps us trapped, as in capitalism? Is that what you're criticizing? Just so I can follow you. Yeah, like, there's a lot to criticize about that for sure. but I think they might be going down a conspiracy path here. There's more spread of fear on the news and social media because that's what gets the most clicks. That's what makes the most money. See? Capitalism. But yeah, anger and fear are emotions that can definitely make us take brash actions and not think before we act. That's why it's so important to be able to have a level head and a critical, inquisitive mind.
Keeping our attention focused on what makes us act in ways we don't always want to.
Oh, yeah, they're going down the conspiracy path.
For most people, they continue to experience the same types of relationships over and over again because they are holding on to past traumas. Their attention is more focused on avoiding the type of relationship they had before, which is why they continue to attract the same type of relationship and partner.
Oh boy. Okay, so this one. You don't attract the same types of people in relationships. What can happen is, if you have traumas from previous relationships or, childhood, let's say manipulative parents, you might end up meeting a manipulative person, because there's no short supply of those, and think, this is familiar. Or even, I say nothing wrong here. Because you're really used to seeing this kind of behavior. And while other people might see this type of person, and run away, you're like, yup, seems like a great partner. And fall into the same trap again. It's not that you attract this kind of person, but you don't run away at the red flags that they show. Make sense? It's not your fault, by the way. But seeking help and managing to build up boundaries would definitely help in cases like these. I'll always recommend trying to find a good therapist.
Most people are traumatized by an event and fear that they haven't processed it correctly.
Some traumas can never truly be processed correctly. At least not fully, but that's okay. Dealing with them in time, talking about them, and having a therapist that matches you can help wonders. You shouldn't feel guilty for not processing things fast enough either, or any kind of bullshit like that. They're repetitive here, so I'm cutting some of that out.
If we're living in a reality where this is our current situation and we're facing a crossroads in our life path, let's say it's a challenge at work related to a coworker, employee, or any other problem. If we choose to perceive it positively, and the content of our positive attention is, for example, somehow this situation offers us an opportunity for growth. We can overcome this challenge and become stronger as a result.
Funny how they get the least problematic of problems to focus on, right? But sure, having a positive outlook on life can be quite useful. It helps you see the positive in a sort of negative situation. It can surely help you find a solution to an annoying problem. However, not all negative situations can be perceived in a positive light. Oh boy, I think our little narrator here has a really narrow view of problems. Well, let's get our old example back. Our child has cancer, maybe even terminal cancer. What fucking positive outlook could we have? Try to think of one that wouldn't get you punched in the face by the parents. Seems a bit more challenging, no?
In this case, we are attracting the energy and reality that reflect our positive attitude. However, if we choose to look at the same situation negatively and the content of our negative attention is, "This is terrible, I can't believe this is happening. It's going to be a disaster and there's no way out of it," then we'll be attracting the energy that reflects this negative mentality.
This literally guilts people into not allowing themselves to feel their own pain, to release it, to cry when they need to cry, to even complain about life when they need to. No, you can't complain. You can't think about negative. You'll be attracting more of it to your life. Dude, just shut the fuck up and let me cry about my dead friend. What's wrong with you?
It's important to understand that life doesn't care whether our attention is positive or negative.
Again, life doesn't care. It can't. It's not even a thing. More like a concept anyways.
It responds to the content of our attention.
Life doesn't respond. Period.
In other words, if we think that, in a way, this will help us to grow, then the lifeline will shift towards a more positive lifeline.
The lifeline will shift towards a more positive lifeline? No, it won't. Sometimes shitty things are shitty. It's part of life. Sometimes horrible things are horrible. Some of these things can be improved upon by the advancements of medicine, society, architecture, sometimes by protests that end up improving laws. Sometimes we can actively work on improving the horrible things that happen by drawing enough attention to a bad thing and proposing changes. Emanating positivity gives people false hope and forces them into a small, constricting, happy box. Don't you dare get out of it.
More of what we feel positively about will manifest.
Not really.
On the other hand, if we feel negatively about something and think, that's bad, then something bad will happen.
Well, something bad is already happening if the person feels negatively about something and thinks that's bad. So you're not much of a prophet to say that something bad will happen if the bad thing is, already happening. The video continues by restating the same points, so let me know what you think. Leave a comment below if you've ever got snapped by the spiritual trap, because I sure have, and subscribe for more content like this. Remember, I'm your godless sinner, the devilish guide to a critical mind. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.